Dennis, getting Tyrann back first, what does it mean to have him back, and what kind of spirits does he seem to be?
Yeah, look, I love having him back. It was great to see him last night. Got in last night, had a chance to visit with him at the hotel. Seems to be in really good spirits. He's anxious to kind of get back here and get started. We'll go through a little bit of a ramp-up period with him, kind of let him get his feet up under him. But, man, to have a player of his, decorated ability back in the building is a positive.
Is what he missed problematic, would you say, at this point, or not?
I wouldn't say so. He's a veteran player. When you really want to talk about what we're doing defensively from a schematic standpoint, it's not a lot different than what you're going to see in a lot of the other teams. Really, it gets more down to just terminology and just some of the minor little adjustments that we might make. So I feel like he'll get back in the swing of things there, and it won't take long. It's more about just getting him ready for football conditioning.
Yeah, obviously you want practices to be spirited, competitive, but when it goes a little bit too far, do you have to kind of?
Yeah, we don't have time for that. And so I sent 2 guys in today, and we got to get our work done. So we got to learn as a team how to compete and how to play and how to practice, all right, and push ourselves to the limit, but yet not take it over the edge.
Is that conversation you're going to have to talk to with Trevor, because he's been involved?
It's going to happen with everybody. It happened with the team out here. It'll happen with those 2 players, sometime between now and the next practice.
Mike Thomas getting a little more work today?
It was awesome. It was awesome. Seeing him, get a few routes. Actually go up against a defender. I thought he looked good in the plays that he got. I was excited about seeing that. And I think it's another step in the right direction.
Is he the kind of guy you have to, hold back? Has he wanted to be doing more of those?
Well, here's what I would say is we've had a lot of communication with Mike, and we've kind of, with his input, we've kind of laid out a plan of what we want to do and how we want to go about getting him ready, and Mike's been totally on board with the plan, and so I think with Mike is when you explain to him what you're looking for, and he feels like you're listening to what he has to say. I think he responds well to that. And he's been outstanding.
I'm sorry, would it be right to say maybe that he could do more, but you're just being extra careful?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily go there. Look, I think he's in a good spot. I think we want to continue to ramp him up. There's a process that this goes through, and at some point before we get to the regular season, we're going to see him in full speed team activities. We have a plan for how that's going to go. Obviously, we have to monitor how he's feeling as we go through that plan, but I feel good about where he's at and the progress that he's made.
Dennis, can you say any reason why Ramchek's not getting a lot of teamwork right now?
Yeah, it's just more of a trying to a little bit more of a maintenance plan. We've got a few of those guys that we've got a little bit of a plan with that we're trying to limit some of the snaps that they're getting, but I feel good about where he's at and what he's doing when he's out here. So it's all part of the plan.
Coach, a non-X's and O's question with the Weather Channel. Explain some of the strategy with the guys practicing indoors versus outside versus outdoors. I noticed you balanced that throughout the training camp schedule. Just talk about some of the impact that has on some of the guys.
Well, number one, you guys are the reason why we came in yesterday, because of the weather. So that's why we came in yesterday. Our plans were to be outside. And our plans are to be outside the rest of the week, depending on what the weather is. And so, I think there's an element to getting out in the environment and having to push yourself through the heat, because it's a challenge. But there's also something to having guys being able to recover and being able to get them freshened up and kind of protect them a little bit. So it's all kind of a balancing act. We'll see where we go. If you guys can hold the weather off for us tomorrow, we'll be back outside.
blaming us for the weather. With Trevor a couple of days ago, you said that his feistiness wasn't really a problem. What was it, would you say, that changed today?
Probably that we're, in about the third day a row in practice, and people begin to get a little bit tired, and things get a little bit more chippy. It's not unusual for something like that to occur in a training camp. Certainly something that we don't want to see happen, and it'll be addressed, and we'll move forward.
Dennis, how do y'all decide, because the competition obviously behind Alvin at running back, the reps or the touches, like for instance the first preseason game against the Texans, whether it's Abram Smith, Tony Jones Jr., Malcolm Brown, Zigbo, whatever, how do y'all decide, this is your game, or because you only played 3 preseason games, but how do you decide a quarter or what?
Well, yeah. So look, again, it's all part of the process. We'll sit down as a staff, and we'll talk about, who we want to see, how much we want to see. There's a lot that really goes into it, in terms of making those decisions. But it's really kind of I'd say kind of an organizational or coaching staff decision that we sit down and communicate with that a lot and figure out how we want to address that.
Any updates on Smoke Monday?
No updates. He's got a significant knee injury, so that's all I'll say on that.
Dennis, a week in the camp, is the competition and intensity level where you want it to be?
I like where it's at. I really do. Again, look, we took it over the top a little bit today, but our guys are out here competing, extremely hard, and it's been fairly clean, in terms of the execution. There's certainly still a lot of things that we got to clean up and we got to fix, but I'm pleased with what I've seen so far. But look, we got a long way to go.
Mario was saying the other day that the team was happy with some of the momentum they had at the end of last year, but there's no momentum from year to year. You have to kind of build it up from scratch. How do you kind of do that with each individual team, each individual
Look,
year?
same way. You start every season 0-0, so there is no momentum. In this 2022 team will be based on what we do during the season, and so all we can do is focus on the here and now and what we can do to get better, and all the results kind of take care of themselves, and last year was last year.
Coach, progress of Cole Brandis in the defensive end.
Well, I think it's been pretty good. He's bigger and stronger than he's been. I think that's been a good thing for him. I think he's had a pretty nice camp. He's a guy that I think has a chance to maybe take the next step. And I think probably he's always been a pretty good rusher. But I think I've seen a little bit more in terms of stoutness and run defense in this camp, and I think that's benefits him, but it's going to benefit us too.
He used to say, in his own humble opinion, that he runs like a gazelle. Carl, do you agree? Do you agree?
I think I'm gonna leave that to him and to you to figure that out.